Am I? Almost. Yes, I'm dodging around. I'm looking for that little red light that comes on. It would be great, wouldn't it, if you were on a show and instead of having to search for that little red light, it came up right across the screen. Sorry, you are live. So we're live. I'm going to just assume that we're live. So good afternoon, everyone, and yes, welcome to Healing Hands Around the World. This is our time when we have collective healing. I show you a little bit how to give healing, and we're actually going to talk. We had a great question from somebody the other day, so we're going to talk a little bit after we do the healing session. We're going to talk a little bit about energy, how much energy do we use. You can see I've been using a lot of energy, can't you, today? How much energy do we use? How we need to build our energy, or can we build our energy? In fact, anyway, that's for later on. I just would like to mention, first of all, to say hello to Gregor, who is, sorry, we are live on this show, so my daughter's calling me. She forgets what I'm doing half the time, so we say hello to Grey Eagle, who is by my right side, and we're also going to say hello to Michelle. Say hi, Michelle, who is remotely doing this again.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
And Cachorro is in the corner asleep. That's what you hear me say every week, don't you? You hear me say that every single week. But yes, he is in the corner, sound asleep. I'm having to put him on a bit of a diet because his back legs are going a little bit, so I'm going to slim him down a little bit and see if that helps him with his walking and stuff like that. So we'll see. I'll keep you posted on that. So we're going to be sending him some healing today. So any of you out there who have your pets who you'd like to send healing to, just keep them in mind. I'm going to suggest, and I do this with my students, and they have their healing book. For those of you who want to join in to learn how to send healing to others, to give out healing to others, I always suggest that you find a really nice book, a beautiful book. Simply is okay too, but find a book that you can have as your treasure, because it will be a treasure trove of names. People that you know who need healing, people that you perhaps even don't know but you want to send healing to. And every day, if you want to join with us in our healing minute, or to have your own list of patients, find a book that can be precious to you. It doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be small, but find a book that you can treat as something that is special to you, a book that you can put the names of your patients in. One caution when you do it: don't use the pages both back and front. Write on a page, then find the next clean page, and then find the next clean page. Make sure that the book you always keep it in a safe place. It can be in your bedroom drawer, or even put it on your coffee table if you want to. But find a place that is special, and every time you go to give healing and you say your healing prayers, of course, the name at the top of that healing book should be yours, because we're going to be sending ourselves healing before we ever begin to send anyone else healing. Remember that, please. And so your name should be in there too, and just use it. Take the book, and when you send out healing to your friends, to your loved ones, and when you send healing to yourself, of course, please just remember that all you need to do is hold the book and you say your prayer, and as you say your prayer, you ask for God's healing energy for all of those who are in your book, and it becomes a very special and a very treasured book. So if you'd like to do that, that's always a helpful thing to do. My students all do it, and they actually took a great deal of care to choose their books, to choose them. And I have students who have been with me for, I'm trying to think however long, at least 30-40 years, who still have their healing books, still a treasure. They may have replaced it, they may have used up all of that book and started another and another and even another, but we keep our healing books our healingness precious to us, so that whenever we are sending out healing, whoever's name is in that book also receives some healing. All right, so I can see, I know we have some comments coming along here. Michelle, do you want to mention some of them? And then when we've done that, I'm going to ask if you'll, as we do our meditation, to not make comments, because I promise you we will have time afterwards to do that. So do we have any comments, Michelle, that we need to talk about first of all?
We have a lot of good mornings and hellos. Karen said that her and her mom are joining us today.
Good.
And that they're sending prayers for Katuro. Sending healing for Katuro.
Okay.
And everybody just says hello.
Well, good.
It's nothing big.
Well, hello to all of you, and we love it. But can you now refrain for a few moments, please?
There are going to be a couple that pop up.
Yes, that's
for
okay.
Me. That's it.
That's okay. But if you can just refrain for the moment, because what I'd like to do first and foremost is let's do our healing session. Let's see if we can get that energy. If you are someone who would like healing, this is the moment you need to find a comfy chair to sit in. You can, in fact, lay down on a bed if it helps, if you feel that's okay, or you know, whichever is the most comfortable. But when I give healing to my patients, I'm going to say 8 out of 10 times I'll sit them in a chair, because I want the energy to flow through them unhindered, nice and easy from me to them and so on. But again, if you are someone who's in bed and you can't get out of bed, it works perfectly well for that too. All right, so let's find a chair to sit in or a bed to lie in. What we need to do is, if we're in a chair, please make sure that your feet are firmly on the ground, totally centered, back as straight as you can get it, and you know the drill, hands, palms upwards on your lap. We have little teeny tiny chakra points all over our body, and 2 of those are in our palm center. The word chakra is a Hindu word, nothing special particularly about it. Just sound good though, doesn't it? It sounds all sort of mystical and sort of, you know, all that stuff. But really it's just a Hindu word, which means actually spinning wheel. That's it, that's all it is. So you have 2 little tiny spinning wheels in your palm centers, chakra points, energy spinning around and around, drawing in, giving out, drawing in, giving out, and so on. And so we're going to place our hands palms upwards on our lap in a receiving position. And we're going to take a breath, breathing in through your solar plexus, another one of those spinning wheels, another one of those chakra points, breathing in through your solar plexus. And I want you to see if you can visualize that beautiful and incredible healing energy that you're going to be drawing into you through your solar plexus. You're going to allow that breath and that energy to permeate through your whole body. You're going to feel it sort of coming up and up and up and into your lungs, and holding that for as long as you can. I don't want you choking though, so just do it gently, nicely and easily. And when you feel that you can't hold it any longer, then just out you come, and visualize that energy flowing through you, flowing down your arms, out into your fingertips. All right. Before we actually begin, we are going to say our prayer, because this is the beginning of what we always do. So if you are ready, you can join with me. Dear God, please allow us to be a part of your healing process. Allow us to join with you, to join our energy with you, to join our energy with that universal God force, that universal healing energy that is out there. Allow us to participate in this process and to share our energy with you, so that you may use it in whatever way you feel is the right way. Allow us to join in. Allow us to participate. And as always, dear God, we will to thy will. And then a breath. Oof, relax, palms upwards on your lap. And again, breathing in through your solar plexus. Now, the last couple of weeks, we have used visualization techniques. We have used visualization to create this sort of candy floss or cotton candy feeling that we have these beautiful colors of pinks and golds and greens. If that works for you and that visualization works for you, then use that. If you are better visualizing yourself lying on a green grass, looking up at a blue sky with the golden sun coming down and warming you through from the center outwards, then use that. All the while I'm talking to you, I would like you to keep breathing in through your solar plexus and holding and holding and visualizing that blue, beautiful blue healing energy permeating throughout your body. If it's helpful to you, wrap a blue blanket around you. Think of the color blue. Immerse yourself in that color and let go. And as I'm talking to you, I would like you to keep doing that. Keep breathing in, holding, holding, holding. And then as you let go of that incredible and beautiful energy, visualize that energy flowing down your arms, into your hands, and out through your fingertips. And relax and pause and breathing in again and continue the process. Some of us like to visualize the candy floss effect, visualizing the world, the candy floss spinning around the world as the earth spins. So does the beautiful colours, the rainbow colours spinning around and around and around. Be careful, don't make yourself dizzy, but concentrate and focus on the colours that you're using, because each colour denotes a different type of energy. The colour blue is the universal colour of healing. The colour green denotes peace and calm and tranquility. So if we're visualizing, for instance, a blue blanket that's wrapped around us, we might want to visualize threading it with ribbons of green. Gold is a spiritual, beautiful spiritual color. Purity, thread it through. Thread that gold ribbon through. Pink is the color of love. We need lots of that. I think my blue blanket would be literally threaded through all around the edges with pink, the color of love, because as we're giving healing, we're also sending love. We're sending peace and calm. If you are the person who needs healing, breathe it in for yourself. Always, before you give out healing to other people, breathe it in for yourself first. Give it to yourself first. And then you can either visualize a person that you want to send healing to, or you might want to simply visualize sending out your healing energy into the universe for God to decide where it goes to. Joining your energy with that universal God force that is out there, and allowing that God force to use that beautiful energy that you're sending out to weave around those who need it, to weave around this earth of ours, which is so in turmoil right now. So we're trying to bring peace and harmony and healing to our world. Begin with yourself. When you give healing, always begin with yourself, giving healing to yourself first. Remember, if you are too exhausted, if you're too sick, you're not going to be any good to anyone else. So give healing to yourself first and foremost. Let's breathe in again. So breathing in, breathing in that beautiful, wonderful healing energy, visualizing even a rainbow filling the sky, blues and purples, greens, yellows, all the joyful colours that we can think of. Visualize that rainbow spinning around the world, spinning around this earth of ours. Visualize that beautiful rainbow of colour spinning around you, and breathing in again, and breathing in that incredible and that beautiful and that joyful energy, that healing energy. Allow it to breathe in, come up and up and up and up, and permeate throughout your body. Just visualize that incredible, beautiful flow of energy that is swirling around you and permeating through every part of you, and going so deep that it touches your soul and gives healing to your soul, so that your soul may flower. And that flower, the spirit, like a beautiful golden flower, even a golden daffodil, will just literally flower the most and the best and the most beautiful it possibly can be. And let's do this one more time, and breathing in through your solar plexus and visualizing those incredible and beautiful colours permeating throughout, touching deep within your soul, bringing healing to the soul. And when we give healing to the soul's energy grows. The light of the soul becomes stronger. The spirit of the soul becomes stronger. The energy field of the soul becomes stronger and stronger and more beautiful. And so it permeates through your body from the inside out. Let's do this one more time, breathing in. Allow it to flow. And let go. And as I always say, let go and let God. Because that's the best we can do. And taking a breath, and you can see how easy and how quick it is to send out healing to others. There's no need to spend more than 5 or 10 minutes on the healing process. I know a lot of people believe that you've got to sit for an hour, you've got to meditate for an hour or 2 hours or whatever it is. It's not going to make any difference, because that short burst of energy that we put out into the universe is so powerful and so beautiful, and combined with all of that other God energy that is out there, it's just builds and builds and builds. We don't need to exhaust ourselves. So please, if you're one of those people who thinks that you've got to be sitting here for the next hour doing this and being intense about it, I don't agree with that process, because I think it is exhausting for you. It's exhausting, it's unnecessary, and quite frankly, all of that healing energy will get to exactly where it wants to go, because what we are doing in saying our prayer is we are literally saying to God, here, take it, you can have it, it's mine. I want to make it the best I can be. I want to make it the most bright and the most beautiful, but this is my aura, this is my energy. Take it, share it, do with it what you will. And it's as simple as that. And the healing process is honestly and truthfully as simple as that. I sometimes have to smile at my patients because, and I always say to my students, be very careful when you first start to give healing to people and you're going out there and you're connecting with people. If you spend a half an hour with them giving them healing, the next time around, if you only spend 20 minutes, they're going to be a bit disgruntled. What's wrong? Why didn't she give me what she gave me the last time? Be very careful, because you can get caught up in what other people feel is necessary. So I always caution my students, please only spend 10 minutes on each individual patient. Or if you are doing a collective healing, again, 10 minutes is really all that is necessary. and making sure that you're including yourself in that healing process. All right, Michelle. Are you awake? Did I put you to sleep or not?
No, I'm good.
All right.
I'm good.
Okay.
We had a question that came in via email. And it's from Jen. And while she was meditating, she had a very emotional kind of encounter with a relative who's passed.
Okay.
So her question is how does she reboot afterwards? I felt foggy-brained and very tired yesterday and couldn't sleep well. I still feel tense today and very tired. It's almost like I absorbed her anger and her sadness, if that's possible. How do I detach and balance my own?
Well, I'll tell you a little story to illustrate, if I may. Many years ago, one of the first consultations that I ever gave was with a lady who wanted to connect with her mother. And at first I didn't see the mother at all, and then all of a sudden there she was. But the mother was extremely intense. I think she was so afraid that I wasn't going to see her and that we weren't going to connect. So she was really intense and wanting to do this and wanting to connect with her daughter so desperately that, she sort of put all of her energy into it's me, and then describing to me in very vivid detail the fact that she'd passed with throat cancer. But again, the way that she did it was so intense that actually, and I'm sure it was unwitting, she had no idea perhaps how sensitive I was or how sensitive we can all be in these circumstances. What she did was, not only was she talking about it, she was also trying to show me. So as I'm talking to my client and I'm looking at her mother trying to listen to what she's saying, all of a sudden my throat felt as if it was completely closed up and swollen. I couldn't breathe. I started gagging and I had to excuse myself and run from the room. And what had happened was that the intensity of this lovely lady was, she was so afraid that I wasn't going to get what she was saying that she thought, well, if she doesn't hear me, I'll show her. And that's exactly what she did. And that's exactly what we can do, because it's simply a transfer of energy. So she was transferring her energy and her story and her distress, which landed on me right to my throat. So I rushed out, excused myself to the client, rushed out, took a minute, had some water and so on, totally realizing what had happened, but I was so not prepared for it. So I came back in, and before I started again, I explained to the lady, my client, what had happened. And I said to her mother, as much as I want to talk to you and as much as you want to talk to me, can't do that. Don't show me, tell me. I can hear you. I know what you're saying to me. Don't worry about it, but relax, don't be so intense. And I think that it's so easy for us when we first are meditating, or when we're first communicating or trying to communicate with someone in the spirit world. It is so easy to have that intensity. And this is why I always try to say to you all at the beginning of our healing sessions, please, relax. The more intense you are, the more it works against you. It's sort of the intensity puts up that barrier. It's very important, and I advise my students, and some of you might be surprised to hear me say, I advocate selfishness, especially when it comes to giving healing. I totally advocate selfishness. When I first began this work, and I would go from time to time to different spiritualist churches in England to see how they worked, and I remember going to see a group of people giving healing. It was in a church in I think it was in Lincoln, And there was a man giving healing, and he wasn't so old, but he was completely bent over, his energy depleted. He could barely walk. He had issues with his feet, so on and so forth. And he'd been a healer for several years. And what he'd been doing, unwittingly again, was he'd forgotten about himself. He was so intent on helping others and so wanting to give of his whole self to other people, he forgot about himself. And when you do that, and you're intently doing that for others, and you're sending out of your energy continually, then it is very, very possible that you can deplete your energy, which is why it's so important to be selfish before giving healing to others, that you must replenish your energy. You also must build up your aura, the energy field that is around you, and you can do that by, as we do, in the visualization techniques, thinking of the beautiful colors, thinking of the color blue, thinking of the color gold, the color pink, and infusing your energy. And it's just a mind thing. It's an energy that you are building within yourself, and you're putting it out there, and your aura begins to glow this beautiful, incredible, beautiful, these colors. And those colors act as a barrier to absorbing other people's negativity. So it's very important to give to yourself first. And it's also very important, for instance, Jennifer had this communication with a relative who, Jennifer felt the anger and so on and so forth coming from her. I doubt actually that that's really the case, but it may be a residual thing that, Jennifer, you have in your own mind, that you can remember your aunt being angry and so on and so forth. But if she's coming to talk to you, perhaps that anger has lessened, and perhaps her experience in the spirit world has taught her that there's no point of anger. But there are people who are angry and frustrated, and they, whether it's in this world or the next, and boy oh when you're around them for a while, they just completely wear you down. You feel absolutely exhausted with another person's energy, and it can literally ruin a whole day, a whole week, a whole year. It can actually, if you allow it, it can ruin your life. So when you are giving healing specifically, what you're doing is you're opening yourself up, you're opening up your energy, and it's so important to make sure that your energy field is as bright and as positive and as beautiful as it can be. Otherwise, don't give healing to other people. You don't want to send out your negative energy. You don't want to send that out. But also, you don't want to be in a position where you're tired, you're exhausted, like this man I was talking to you about in this Spiritualist church in England. He had given, and the more tired he became, the more exhausted he became, and the more it affected him physically, on a physical level. His energy was depleted, so he wasn't eventually able to take care of himself. I always teach my students, first give healing to you. If you feel tired, if you feel exhausted, now really, Jennifer, another question here is, why are you meditating for that length of time when this negativity is coming into you? You need to stop. Just come out of it, sit up, get yourself a drink of water. And again, 10 minutes, a 10-minute meditation is worth far more than 2 hours when you're allowing yourself to go off and negativity to come in. Please don't do it. I teach my students in the beginning of learning meditation, have an alarm clock or a timer or something going on, 10 to 15 minutes, no longer. Because if you're not careful, this is what happens. You get so caught up in other people. You got so caught up in your aunt's energy, Jennifer, that you forgot about yourself. And you allowed that to happen, and then of course the next day or so, or 3 or 4 or whatever, you're exhausted. So enough of the lengthy, let's meditate for an hour or two. I see people out on the beach all the time sitting there meditating, And if you are experienced and you've done this for a long time, fine, you know what you're doing. But if this is new to you, start with a 10 or 15-minute session. Eventually, as you get used to it, and eventually as you build your energy and as you build the aura around you and as you build up your own protection and as you understand the need to give first to you before you give to others, the better and the easier it will become and the more you'll get out of it. Just try and remember this little maxim here. If you are exhausted or tired, what use are you to anyone else? So when you are giving, and it's the same thing, it's the same thing with anything, isn't it? If you spend all day in the kitchen cooking for everybody else, you don't feel like eating yourself much, do you? Stop expending energy on everybody else. Give to you first, and then when you are well and healthy and you feel, in charge of your life and in charge of your energy, then by all means give to others, but not with an intensity and not with hours and hours going on. 10 to 15 minutes max. Make sure you have an alarm clock or a timer or something going off. I daren't say it, but that A thing in the background there, and all I can do is just say timer for 10 minutes or timer for 15 minutes. It's easier now than it used to be. We used to have an alarm clock, ding, ding, dinging off all the time. So just make sure that you are in control of what is happening, not that this thing, this energy, this healing session, not that it is in control of you. You are always in control of it. I think that answers the question. Let's go, Michelle. Who else have we got here? What other comments or questions do we have?
Carlos would like to know how he can activate his potential. He says, I always lost money and I not recover.
Well, I think, Carlos, if you're losing money, it's because you're not making wise decisions. So here's what I think you need to do. I think you need to think before you act in any given situation. Give healing to your own self. Take 10 or 15 minutes out of your everyday process just to give to you, and think before you act. Ask yourself every time you take a step forward, am I sure that I want to do this? Is this something that I want to do? And you can build up your own character. You can build up your own self-worth simply by just spending 10 or 15 minutes with your own self-giving to you. So that's how you can build your potential. You need to build on your self-worth. You need to stop trying to impress other people. I feel very strongly that I should say that to you. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Start worrying about, what do you think about you, Carlos? What is your impression of you? Make it a good one, and then once you start to build on your own character, on your own character traits, and you start to be a person that you really want to be, then you'll find that your life will automatically improve. Slowly maybe, but still it will improve. Michelle.
Judith is on, and
Morning,
she
Judith.
shared quite an experience.
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you.
Okay.
Okay. She said, I want to share my experience with the group. A beloved family member recently passed on to the next dimension of life, and I've had 2 visits with him during the sleep state. The first time I was wearing a prayer necklace. I looked down and realized it was exactly like the one my loved one had given me at Christmas. I looked up and he was there smiling and at peace.
Nice.
He was very happy that I was communicating with him and wanted me to let his mother know the second time I saw him that we were having fun floating around together.
Oh, good.
I told him I remembered floating as a child, and I remembered all of it when I woke up. I loved seeing him and knowing how joyful he is. I'm
so happy that you shared that lovely story, and I think it's true that so many of us, when we're in that sleep, sort of half awake, half asleep state, we sort of, what happens is we are relaxed. We inadvertently, because we're so relaxed, we let our guard down. We stop trying so hard. We're not in that point of being intense and wanting to hear and wanting to see and wanting to do things. We are much less intense and much more relaxed, and that is when our experiences will happen. That is when we have much more solid and much more real experiences. And I'm so pleased for you, my darling. I really am. Let's have something else, question or a comment or whatever. We love it when people share stories with us, by the way.
The next one we got is from Annie.
Morning, Annie. Oh, afternoon or whatever time it is.
She says, Rosemary, I lost my puppy Monday at 3 a.m.
Oh.
I didn't have time to get to the vet, and she suffered so much. Rosemary, is she okay? I feel so much remorse because I never got her to the vet.
No. Stop it. Annie, is this Annie?
Yes.
Listen, my darling. Instead of feeling remorse because you weren't there, now this happens with our beloved pets, it happens with our loved ones. Sometimes, it's like a person will be at the hospital and they'll sit at the bedside of a loved one, and they'll sit there for hours, and then the moment they go to the bathroom or the moment they go and get themselves a cup of coffee, they come back and it's all over and our loved one has gone. And that is because it is so often easier for them to pass when we're not around, because the tug, the pull, the emotional pull, especially with our pets, they know how hard it is for us, and they really want to be with us and they want to stay with us, but at the same time they're ready to go, they're ready to depart. If your puppy passed when you weren't there, I think that was something that was meant to be, and I think it really shows the wonderful connection that you had with this little one. It really shows that you had just a beautiful and incredible connection, because it's sometimes it's hard for our loved ones and our pets. It's hard for them to leave when we are there sort of so intensely wanting them to stay and holding on to them. So just please think about all the things that you shared together, the happiness that you had, the fun that you had together. Could you please focus on that, my love?
Rosemary, the pup died in her arms.
Right. So nice. Lovely. So it's great. You had that moment. Stop worrying that you didn't get there soon enough. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. Unfortunately, part of the response that we have when any of our loved ones dies, we feel guilt. We should have done more. We should have done differently. If only we'd done this. If only you'd taken this puppy to the vet sooner. If only the signs had been there and you'd moved your butt sooner. If only. Don't go with the if onlys. It reminds me of Rudyard Kipling's poem, If. Please read it if you get a chance. You can go on the web and find it. Rudyard Kipling, If. And it's a poem about if only this, if only that. Ifs and buts were pots and pans or something like that. I can't remember the rest of it, but don't do that to yourself, my lovely. You were the best that he could have possibly had. You were his best mummy. Don't go down that road of I shoulda, woulda, coulda, because you didn't. And it wasn't meant to be. So trust that God knows best. And so, I think if you had that wonderful moment of holding this puppy in your arms at that final moment, I have to tell you, having been there and done that, it is heartbreaking, but it's the best gift. It really is the best gift. Yep, have another question or what have you.
Carlos responded to what you had talked about with him, or what you had responded to his question. He said, last year I was hospitalized, but before that a healer told me that I have a gift of clairvoyance, but I felt very lost at the time, 6 months in a center.
I'm going to send you healing, Carlos. I think you're actually on the mend. I think you're doing fine. You know, be careful when somebody says you've got the gift of clairvoyance or this, that, or whatever it is. I don't really know. I mean, I don't know you. I don't really know. I'm not prepared to say it like in a heartbeat of a second. Well, I am prepared apparently to say something because Greg will just put his hand on my shoulder. So here you go, Carlos. Rather than developing, you know, your clairvoyant abilities, if we all have them to a certain extent, you do have healing hands, I'm told. How about that? So give healing to yourself first, my lovely. Take a moment, 10 minutes in every day, to think about who do you want to be? How do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And give to you. Send that healing your own way. Give healing to yourself. Surround yourself in that beautiful, or those beautiful auras of color, and give healing to your own self. Once you know, I always think that every one of my healers, every one of my students should know what it's like to sense, to be aware, and to have maybe a little experience of mediumship. But they also most definitely need to know what it's like to need healing, to receive healing, and then to give healing. So, you know, be patient. Give to yourself first. Let's have the next question.
Okay, we have one more question from Annie. And she'd like to know if dogs go to heaven.
Annie, why are you asking me a question you already know the answer to? Of course. Of course, of course, of course. And you know, there are many stories that I can tell of the puppies that I've had and lost, and how they reappear, and it's very interesting actually, because I rarely see Nino, my chocolate Labrador. My friend who is a dog trainer knows of a friend who literally just all he does is train Labradors. And those people who breed and train Labradors will tell you that the black Labrador is the most intelligent. The golden comes next. They are the easiest to train. Apparently, the blacks are easiest to train, and then the goldens. And anyway, my friend Fred, who's my fabulous friend and dog trainer, he took he took Nino, who was a chocolate lab. And he had actually said to me before I even got Nino, if you're going to get one, don't get a chocolate lab, because they're nuts, they're crazy, they're ridiculous, and the least easy to train. And of course, I got a chocolate Labrador. And the guy his friend who just trains Labradors, actually, my friend Fred called him one day and he said he had Nino. He was out in the field with Nino and he was training Nino. He said to this guy, you got to come and see this dog. He said, come on over and see this dog. And they live fairly close together. So he said, well, what is it? He said, it's a chocolate lab. I'm not, no way am I, he says. No, sorry, no, not interested in the chocolates. So Fred said to him, no, he said, you've got to come and see this dog. So the guy came over against his will, really, and they sat and put Nino through his paces. And then this friend of Fred's looked at him and he said, that is not a chocolate Labrador. That is a black Labrador disguised as a chocolate Labrador. So it's funny because, you know, it's like never judge a book by its cover, never judge a person from how they look. You never know what's going on inside of them. But when my darling Nino passed, he was that kind of dog. If you couldn't find me, look for the dog, and if you couldn't find the dog, look for me, because we were always like this. And he was fully trained, and he would go get the slippers, and he would go do this and that and the other, and I'd take him out into the field and so on. We had a fabulous relationship. But since he passed, I've not seen him very much. But as you're talking to me, Annie, about your puppy, and having issues with Cachorro, because Cachorro worshipped the ground that Nino walked on, and Nino hated Cachorro at first because he felt like, you know, he was being usurped, but then they became inseparable. And as you are talking to us about your puppy, I actually just looked up, and still I can see Nino, and he's standing there just looking at me, wagging his tail, and has come to say hello. Do dogs go to heaven? Absolutely, they do. They do. As do our beloved pets, whatever they are. If we infuse them with love, and we know that they infuse us with love, then, you know, their souls grow just as our souls grow. Having an animal, having a puppy, I can only speak about puppies because I'm not really a cat person. Don't get upset with me. I just, you know, if you're a dog person or a cat person, that's the way it is. Although I like cats, but I wouldn't have a cat particularly, so I don't quite know how I'd interact with one. But we know that our animals, they feed our soul, they bring us joy, they bring us love, they bring us light, they bring us hope. And if we love them, we hope to do the same for them too. And I think, Annie, that that's exactly what you have done. You should be so thrilled. Right, next.
Okay, the next one is from Connie.
Morning, Connie. Afternoon. I can't get... Anyway, hi, Connie. I'll say hi. How about that?
She says, I have been having so much anxiety that I can't make a decision. My husband and I have decided to retire and move to the beach. And now that the time is drawing near, I keep changing my mind. This indecision is driving me and my husband crazy. What's wrong with me?
I think you're scared. It's a whole different way of life, isn't it? You know, we see people come to Florida, and they'll come and they'll stay for 6 months. It's not for us. I made a big mistake, and off they go. And it always makes me wonder, you know, why aren't they giving it a chance? So I'm going to say that to you, Connie. For goodness sake, you've made the decision, so get on with it. You're allowing fear to freeze you, I think, my sweetheart. You're allowing, because it's going to be such a big change, and I don't know what your relationship is like with your husband. You may have a great relationship, but you may not like having him under your feet all the time. Well, go walk on the beach then, because honestly, it is the best feeling in the world to be able to just go out your door, right, Michelle? You go out of your door, drive
Absolutely.
10 minutes, and there you are, and the ocean is in front of you. A friend of mine and I, on Sunday, we went for a drive along the coast road. We're sort of in Venice, Florida, which is just outside of Sarasota, and this beautiful coastline. We have the best beaches. It's fabulous, and we took photos, and the photos didn't nearly do it justice. The water was so turquoise, so incredibly beautiful. It just takes your breath away. And there isn't a day that I go out and I sort of look at, you know, the weather, I go out and sit by my pool, or whatever it is you do, you know, when you're in these beautiful climates. There's not a day goes by when I don't think and even say out loud, oh, we are so lucky to be living here. So, Connie, embrace change. Change is always scary, but you can let it freeze you in fear, and you can, you know, so go to the beach and be always fearful. What if it doesn't work out and you miss your family and you miss your old way of life and so on? I've learned with my travels, you can never go back, because even if you go back, it's never the same. So embrace the future. The world, you know, the world is a wonderful place to visit, to be, to make the most of your life. And our lives are so short. For goodness sake, if you have a husband, a loving husband, who's willing to do with you, whatever it is you want to do. Goodness me, you know, embrace your decision, embrace your husband, and embrace the future. So what if you don't know, you know, what's going to happen? So what? Make it the best you can make it. What is the worst thing that can happen? Oh gosh, the worst thing that can happen is you find yourself sitting outside in the sunshine, you know, having a cup of coffee or a glass of wine, thinking, oh, I do miss my kids. But then you remember it's freezing cold where you were. So we love it here, don't we, Michelle?
Yeah, I've been down here most of my life, and I would never move back north.
Anyway, embrace your future. Stop being frozen by fear is my advice. And I think if you give it a chance, and I think anyone who decides to make a move like that, wherever it happens to be, you got to give it at least a couple of years, and a couple of years of working hard at it, not a couple of years moaning and complaining that it's not working out and you miss this person or that person. Oh, well, when we were here, we had this, but now we're here, we don't have this or this. You know, embrace it, make the most of it, and enjoy it. For goodness sake, enjoy it, because life is extremely short. And if you have a husband and someone to share it with, for goodness sake, stop dithering about and get on with it. And please, Connie, would you let us know how you do? Okay, let's have our next.
We have Agnes says greetings from the Netherlands.
Hi, Agnes.
Let's see what else we have.
Just a reminder out there that we are in the minute the questions and comments stop, we stop as well, just to let you know that. I do, while you're scrolling through, Michelle, I'm going to mention that we do have our competition. Here it is in two parts. The first part, what is the best advice that anyone has ever given to you, and why, and what was it? And the second, don't write a litany, because we're not interested in reading a book. And the second part of the question is, what do you think is the best advice that you've ever given to somebody else? You have a couple of weeks, I think, left. Entries need to be in by when? They need to be in by the 18th or 19th of May, which is my birthday. So instead of me receiving gifts this year, nobody's coming anyway, so can't do anything. Can't even have a dinner party, but I'll be on to all my friends all across the world, which will be nice. And so I thought, hey, why not just give some stuff out? So we're going to have lots of winners. I'm going to be giving stuff away. You can enter, you could put in as many entries as you like. Unfortunately, only those who are in the USA can be winners, but we still want to hear from the rest of you. And the only reason I say that only in the USA can there be winners because of taxes and all that stuff that we have to deal with. It becomes too expensive, and it becomes too complicated to send out of the country. However, you know, we still want to hear from you. We still want to hear your entries. So please get going on that. I'll tell you again. The first part is, what is the best advice that was ever given to you? What was it, and why is it the best that you know that was given to you? And the second part of that is, what is the best advice that you ever gave to somebody else, and why do you think? And I shall be the one judging, so please send in your entries to Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. Please make sure that in the subject line you put competition, so it makes it easier for Michelle to deal with and to handle, and she knows exactly what she's doing. If you also would like to know more about our books, our webinars that we're planning, we just had a little downturn on the webinar thing. We thought we were doing so well, but anyway, we'll get over it and deal with it. We are looking for a company that does webinars, but also has the ability to have video sessions as well. So if you out there know of anybody or could give us any advice, we'd love to hear that as well. And again, email us Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com and let Michelle know what it is that you're thinking. And what is that you're showing me?
Share.
Oh, I can't see that. You're holding something up for me. And don't forget, yes, please, everyone, share this. It is important, especially with our healing sessions, because there are so many people out there who do need healing, who would like healing, and perhaps never even heard of healing, or might even benefit from just listening to this video. And just remember, it doesn't matter whether you listen live or whether you just play it back and use the recording as a guide for your guided meditation, for your guided healing sessions. They work equally well. So yeah, so do we have any other questions or anything going on here?
Agnes said that she was feeling very sad and that she's happy to hear your words.
Oh, Agnes, well, actually, I say don't feel sad. Of course you should feel sad. Of course there has to be that grieving process. But I can assure you that your puppy is safe and happy. And what?
Annie is the one that lost the puppy. Agnes was just feeling sad.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm saying to Annie, your puppy is safe and well. Sorry, we're getting them. Annie and Agnes, we're getting names mixed up. Agnes, I don't know why you're sad. Cheer up, my lovely. Cheer up. Life is too short to put on a sad face. Put on a happy face. My daughter called me yesterday. She told me about this friend, and then she told me about another friend, and then she told me about another friend, all of who had issues that she'd had to listen to all day. And now I had to listen. And at the third one she was talking to me about, I put my hand up and I said, I'm done now. I mean, as much as I want you to share with me and as much as I want you to talk to me about these things, I don't want any more negativity. I'm not thinking about it anymore. And I suggest you go out for a walk, take Reese out for a walk, or go into the garden and play and be happy. So Agnes, be happy, my love. Anything else before we end this session? It's gone so fast.
It has gone fast today. Kathleen says that she lost her sister on Christmas Eve and she's feeling very overwhelmed.
Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. But if you just know that, I'm sure you know this, that she's safe and well, but it's very fresh, isn't it? And don't you hate that when, people who you love and they pop their clogs on Christmas Day or on your birthday or somewhere or another, and now you're always thinking about it. But please remember that death is not the end of something, it is the beginning of something, and death is not a punishment. So, sort of anytime you think of your sister, and any of you listening out there, you think of that person that you love and that you care about, celebrate for them, because it might be a painful loss for us, but it's a celebration for those who continue with their lives and go on and find the joy and the happiness so often that they've not been able to find while they've been living life on this earth. So remember, my lovely, death is not a punishment. Try and remember that. And another thing you must do for your sister is please, please, please smile for her every day, if you can do that. I know you can. Next one, anything else coming in before we shut down?
I think we are good to shut down.
Okay. So thank you so much. Share. Don't forget the competition. Please share this video with all of your friends, all of your own Facebook friends. In fact, you know how you go in there and it says share? Just keep clicking share. Keep going. Let other people share this fabulous healing that we are able to give to ourselves first. Remember, be selfish with your own self, and then to give to others. All right, so tomorrow morning we are going to be live with our The Spirit World Sees All, and it really does. Again, we're going to have question time, and we're going to be talking about all sorts of things, and we love our Thursday mornings. We're not sure if we're having an Everything is Attitude tomorrow evening. Just watch out for it, is all I can say. Just keep us posted. We're having one or two little difficulties with that, but usually that's on at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tomorrow morning is 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, my class is tomorrow night, boy, you students better be on your toes. And on Saturday, we have our story time on Saturday morning, and again at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I shall be telling another story. I don't know if some of you missed last week's and the week before, but we told stories of a haunted house. Was it actually haunted? Was there really a ghost there? And did we really have a party to help to send a very lonely and a very lovely lady off on her journey, which she should have taken perhaps even 40 years prior? What am I talking about? Well, go to Storytime on, where is it? Where is Storytime? It's on YouTube. It's actually on the main Facebook page, which is where we shall do it this Saturday, where we always do it. And also we then upload it to YouTube. So, you can find us on the main Facebook page, or you can find it on YouTube, wherever it is easiest for you to find. And we look forward to, having another story on Saturday. I haven't quite made up my mind yet as to what story I'm going to be telling you. But of course, all my stories are true. They all pertain to experiences with the spirit world. I might tell you about the wrong...
You had me mark you for the Potato Man this weekend.
Oh, I did? Well, I could tell you the story about the Potato Man. Can you mark this one down? Because I'm not sure if I've told you this one, but this one is about the wrong body. A man who found the wrong body in the coffin just prior to a burial. That's a wonderful story. And the little girl who saw the tiger is another one. Who knows what we're going to be choosing? We'll see. I'll let you know. Maybe tomorrow. Or I might just surprise you with a story and not tell you what it's all about until Saturday morning. So please, 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 if you need anything from us, if you need to put on our healing list, if you need to know more about our consultations, if you need to know more about our healing guided meditations. Another one is going out hopefully on Monday, did we say, Michelle?
Yes, it'll be Monday.
You can find it on Amazon, or you can find it on anywhere, iTunes or wherever. The one that's out now is A Journey Towards Healing, which has been used in homes and hospitals throughout the world. And the next one coming up on Monday is called A Garden of Souls. A Garden of Souls. Don't forget the competition. Please, 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 as many entries as you like, because I love to hear from you and I love to hear your stories. And until I can see you again, hopefully in the morning, until I see you again, please, 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 all of you out there, have a very blessed, a very safe and a very, very wonderful rest of the day. And hopefully I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye, everybody. And